Alright, this should be fun. If you enjoy this type of video, please leave a like. It is the most direct way of showing me that you want more of something. And I have a bucket. And let's start with 343. These guys. They lay claim to probably the most legendary bag throw of all time, in gaming at least. And their treatment of Halo should be criminal. They were given one of, if not the biggest gaming franchises at the time. Wow, it was pretty big, so I don't know. But they had the most momentum possible. And they made Halo 4, and then 5, and Infinite. And if you know anything about Halo, then you know that these 3 games at the bottom didn't quite live up to the first 3. And of course there's the Master Chief Collection, which they released completely broken, left it that way for years, and eventually largely fixed it. But I mean, you couldn't play multiplayer in this game for like years. Truly incredible and definitely F tier. So while we're at it, let's talk about Bungie. Halo was definitely the biggest console game at the time. It genuinely felt like a moment every time one of these games released. And Bungie really proved it was them given what we know about 343. And even when they went and made Destiny, it was pretty massive. No interest from me, but I had a bunch of friends playing it. From what I heard, Destiny 2 was pretty I guess there was a golden era time for Destiny 2 kind of in the middle of its lifetime. But Marathon was a disaster. They had stolen art, it was boring, and they claimed everything fun was gonna come later. Which is a weird time to reveal your game if you have nothing fun yet. Or none of your cool ideas you claim to have. Also, Bungie had a ton of internal, scandals and everything. I think they're D tier. So how about CD Projekt Red? These guys are obviously known for Witcher and Cyberpunk, but more importantly to me, they have the ability to change when something goes wrong. When Cyberpunk 2077 released and it was kind of a mess, they locked the fuck in and fixed it. They changed their entire internal process with how they make games. And they not only fixed Cyberpunk, but they also released probably one of the best DLCs for any game ever. All that said, I think A tier. If Witcher 4 comes out and it's a masterpiece, I would probably upgrade these guys to S tier, but I think it's safer to wait and see how it releases. Alright, let's get Obsidian out of the way. I don't think there would be much disagreement, but they made one of the best games ever with New Vegas. I mean, the freedom that you have in that game, the fact that you can kill every single person and still complete the storyline, and it's not a super shit storyline, combined with the fact that you can kill literally no one and also still beat the game, that's just incredible to me. I think Stick of Truth was great, but I've heard they've been pretty stale since. Lots of people don't seem to think that they could replicate New Vegas, of course if given the opportunity. It's just different people in a different time. I would still take it though. But yeah, as far as a lot of their recent games, I just haven't played them. But from what I hear online, they aren't amazing. I'm gonna say C tier. And I'm sorry, please don't unsubscribe. Alright, BioWare. Creators of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Knights of the Old Republic, the Mass Effect trilogy, and all those good Dragon Age games you remember. What a lineup this is, by the way. This is a lot of years of consistent great releases. And then they released Mass Effect Andromeda, Dragon Age Veilguard, and Anthem. Now, Veilguard came after Anthem, but Anthem is just such a sad story. I mean, it had by far the best flying mechanic I have ever used in any game. Really had that Iron Man fantasy to it. But yeah, the rest of it was complete dog shit. And sadly, you can't just have a game based off the flying mechanic. Can only hope one day someone actually figures that one out. I'd say BioWare goes solidly into D right now. As sad as that is. Let's talk about something good. Larian. These guys have worked on the Divinity IP since 2002. The only one I've played is Original Sins 2, and it was great. Also, Baldur's Gate 3 is like top 5 games of all time territory. It is beloved by fans and critics alike. It made a seemingly niche game very mainstream, and it's really a modern benchmark for RPGs. Also, Divinity looks amazing even though we've only seen cinematic. The thing is, pretty much everyone has faith that they can deliver. S tier, easy, no questions about it. I guess we can talk about Arcane. Dishonored 1 and 2 are some very good games. They have a very hardcore fan base. And yeah, they're good games, very fun. Their Wolfenstein games have been pretty good for what I've seen. I have not played them. I didn't play Deathloop either, but I've heard it's pretty mixed. Then there's Redfall. Redfall is one of those really special games that comes along and kills an entire studio. It killed Arcane Austin. It failed so bad that all future development was stopped. And Microsoft actually refunded DLC. Crazy. Despite Redfall, I'm gonna put Arcane in B, because I really think that shit was pushed on them. But when Arcane makes the game they wanna make, that shit is good. Naughty Dog. Crash and Jack are legendary, of course. Uncharted is a fantastic series. I think The Last of Us 1 is the greatest piece of media ever. I don't think any movie or show or other game even comes close to the story of The Last of Us 1. and I have a lot more to say about that in a separate video. However, The Last of Us 2 was, meh. I don't love it, let's say that. And Intergalactic just seems lame to me. This might be a personal opinion thing, but I just can't stand space games. I am so over space games. But I am going to put Naughty Dog in A. They're kind of another one I see as captured by their publisher. Maybe I'm wrong though, so let me know. Next, we're going to talk about Capcom. Capcom is very confusing. What we're going to talk about is Capcom Division 1. Division 1 has done Resident Evil since 7. They do all the new Devil May Cry. They make Dragon's Dogma. And they also make these 3 games. Because Division 1 is actually 4 departments, and so they can work on 4 AAA games at once. I count these guys as one studio. And my reasoning is because they're all led by this guy. I am not going to insult him by trying to pronounce his name. So Capcom Division 1 released all of these games in 6 years. I played 5 of them, and they're some of my favorite games ever. And I know RE3 was a bit lacking, but RE2 was so good that it makes up for it. I don't care. Division 1 at Capcom is easily S tier to me. Alright, step right up, Blizzard. Warcraft, hit. Diablo, hit. StarCraft, hit. World of Warcraft, hit. Hearthstone? I guess it has a good player base, so I'll call it a hit. Overwatch, hit. Up until Overwatch, they had a pretty stellar track record to most. Believe me, I know that you listening right now have your own moment when you started hating Blizzard. But to most people, I think up until Overwatch, they were pretty loved. But every release after Overwatch, it seems everybody hates them. Now, I don't play many Blizzard games at all. In fact, I've only played Diablo 4, which was fun for a while, but it's nothing compared to PoE. But yeah, even as someone who doesn't play their games, I can see what happened. There was these 2 incidents.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
And then not to mention all of the internal scandals. I think as far as recent performance and how they've treated their franchises, Blizzard goes an F. Alright, Epic. I've wanted to shit on you for a long time. Definitely most known for Fortnite. You know, Gears of War was a long time ago, and it's just not worth talking about anymore. But Fortnite, I think, is a terrible game. It definitely grew gaming for better or worse, and it introduced the Battle Pass. I'd say Unreal Engine has a lot of ups and downs, but my real problem with Epic is Rocket League. Let me tell you a story. When Epic got all that Fortnite money, they went and bought Psyonix. They made Rocket League free to play, which is fine, whatever. They also stole it from Steam, by the way, and just put it on Epic. And then they made Rocket League Racing. Now I know what you might be thinking, why would I be mad about them making a new mode for Rocket League? That's pretty much what we want, is new content. Yeah, they added it to fucking Fortnite. They made a Rocket League Racing mode, and then they imported all of the shit from Rocket League into Fortnite, and added a new Fortnite mode. What they have done for Rocket League is nothing, years of useless updates, and the one good thing I can think of is the team boost gauge. Like, you can see how much boost your teammate has. Their launcher sometimes has decent free games, but I'd never buy anything on it. They go in D tier for me. Let's talk about Rockstar. Specifically Rockstar North. They have never missed on a major release. These are all of the games I'd consider a major release, and I don't see a miss on here. I see nothing but hits, and even their smaller releases are for the most part pretty damn good. In my opinion, they have the highest prestige of any developer, and I barely play their games. I haven't played GTA 5 since 2013. I haven't played any of their games since Red Dead 2 released. But they make really fucking good games. I just play them and then I'm done with them. I'm sure if I was big into GTA Online, I would be upset. But I definitely think they're an S tier developer. Respawn, I don't have much to say about Respawn. Titanfall slapped. Titanfall 2 was robbed. I'm sure you're all aware about how it released 1 week after Battlefield 1 and 1 week before that year's Call of Duty. Basically killing the franchise right there. Apex definitely has a loyal following and is pretty unique when it comes to the different, big Battle Royale games. It is not my thing, though. As far as their other games, I guess Fallen Order was good, Medal of Honor was bad, and Jedi Survivor was pretty good. I didn't play any of these, I'm just going off of reviews. And overall, I think they just belong in B. I know Apex had a huge cheating problem, and I'm sure it still exists to some degree. Alright, Embark. So far they have released the finals, gets about 15,000 daily players, and Arc Raiders gets about 322,000 daily players. The finals had lots of early momentum, they couldn't keep it going, and so they focused harder on the next game. Arc Raiders had huge early momentum, and it has really insane retention at scale. They have kept these numbers up for a while now, and overall it's just a huge success. It is also not for me though. But given how much everybody likes that game and how well it is holding its players, I feel like I have to put them in A. Maybe they'll prove me wrong and get knocked down later, but as of this video, I think they gotta be A. Alright, Ubisoft. We are gonna do Ubisoft as a full entity, because honestly, it doesn't matter. They have historic franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, and a ton of other smaller ones. They are hilariously bad at making money off of the stuff people already love. They have two options in front of them: make terrible games or make great games. And 99% of the time, they will go with make a terrible game. They are carried by Siege, and they're still trying their hardest to mess that one up. And they've basically been selling parts of themselves to stay afloat. They are F tier. And real fast, I'm just going to throw Riot Games in F tier as well. I have never played League, played a little bit of Valorant, but the amount I've seen these guys charge for skins, plus all their internal issues, yeah, I just think they're F tier. I don't have much to say about id, but Doom was game-changing back in the day. They did it again with Quake, and they've just kind of made consistently good products, even if not being revolutionary since then. I think they're solidly A. I have Playground Games in here because I wanted to learn more about them. So from 2012 to 2021, they made Forza Horizons 1 through 5, and now in 2026, they plan on releasing Horizon 6 and Fable. It's a big year for them. They have pretty good scores across all their games. It gives me some hope, but so far they have been just a one-trick pony. I'm going to give them a conservative B, because making the same game over and over again isn't exactly great. It's why you don't see the developers of any Call of Duty on this list. Those aren't game development studios, those are just factories. Only two left. Let's talk about FromSoft. They have had a strong performance since Demon's Souls in 2009. They are a genre-creating studio. Of course with the Souls-like games. They've kept up with their competition. Their recent live service game is fine, I guess. I have friends that play it and they don't really complain. I do think the Nintendo deal sucks, but given their consistent performance, no choice but to put them in S. I've heard I guess they pay their developers like shit, but that's really none of my business. I don't know how it is in Japan. I don't know. And finally, Bethesda Game Studios. They were beloved from Morrowind to Fallout 4. And I know this is another one where everyone kind of has their own spot where they fell out of love with Bethesda. But I'd say on the masses, it was Fallout 76 that did it. For me, Fallout 4 was really the beginning of the end, and they consistently think they're right. They hold hostage my favorite IP. It is the reason people like them. They have very little actual studio support, and it is fully deserved. F tier. You don't take 8 years to make Starfield and not get F tier. Thanks for watching. Thank you to all the channel members that have signed up. I'm still trying to think of a clever name to call you guys. Maybe someone can comment something that's smarter than me. As I said before, leave a like if you enjoyed. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more. Trying to hit 100K, that would be nice. Then we can hang a fancy plaque on the wall. And yeah, if you've made it to the end of this video, then it's time to hit like.